we're buzzing for the Sunday.
Brilliant. So here's how it's going to work. We've obviously, the first time we've done this Instagram Live with a lot of Spurs fans, very, very excited about this. We've got thousands of you joining at the minute. So it's all about the North London derby. Huge game on Sunday, as we are. I'm getting nervous just thinking about it. Nervous and excited, all the emotions coming out. So we're going to take a little trip down memory lane, ask the lads for their favourite North London derby moments and memories. Then we're going to look ahead to the game. And then we want you all to get involved in the comment section. So there's two ways you can do that. There's comments that are popping up now. Just seen one saying Robbie Keane looks very slick. Spurs Shoe says big up Toby. A lot of fans excited. AJ Tracy is with us as well. So get your questions in. There's also a question mark bar, which is where the question mark is. So if you want to have a question to any of the guests, stick it in there and we'll ask as many as we can. But we've got absolutely thousands of you joining. So AJ, I'm going to come to you first from a fan's perspective. Favourite North London derby memory? What's the sort of standout moment for you, would you say?
I'll be honest, I got two. I got to give you two, yeah?
Right.
So my first one when I was a bit younger, obviously my dad used to always make me watch all the games. Not by force, of course I wanted to watch the games, but he made sure I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
It was Danny Rose, man. Danny Rose's goal was ridiculous when he just ran up and drilled it in. I think we all loved that so much. It's just solidified him as just a club legend. That was one of them. And the other one was a bit more recent. When Kane had the mask on, he just put it in from a disgusting angle, curled it in and ran over and slid. And yeah, man, I loved that. I was emotional.
It's a good shout. I was at both those games. I was in the Park Lane behind Danny Rose's goal, and when that left his when it left his boot, I think everyone knew it was going in the back of the net. It was just, it was unbelievable. Two very good moments. Toby, of course. I think you scored, Toby, did you score in the Harry Kane mask game? Talk to me about that moment. Is that one of your proudest moments? You've got a couple of goals in this fixture.
Yeah, I think I have two. Last season I scored the winner as well.
Yeah.
But it was not the same feeling, but without the fans, you know. So I think that my personal best moment was scoring the 1-1 against Arsenal at home, the same game, with the fans and at White Hart Lane was something you dream of, you know. It's especially in a North London derby to score and to help the team was unbelievable.
And I remember that game being the atmosphere, particularly because that was an epic game. That one. Did you notice that as players that it seemed like a really, really special atmosphere at White Hart Lane that day? Yeah,
but I think for that season, all the seasons, the last season that I played there was always when I was there was very special. I think people start to feel that those were the last couple of games there, and the atmosphere was always special. But of course, the North London derby is always a little bit more.
Yeah, and Kino, you scored some big games. I seem to remember you scored in the 5-1 as well. Do you have scored a few goals, of course, against Arsenal? Seem to enjoy scoring against Arsenal. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I think as a player, and Toby will allude to this, is the first fixture you look for is the London derby. You know,
yeah.
You know there's always something's going to happen. When we played, I think 2006, the last game at Highbury. I mean, the last derby game at Highbury, when it was 1-1, and I scored in that, and then there was a big fight on the sideline with Martin Yole and Arsene Wenger because the two of their players were there, but we didn't care. I went up and scored anyway. So it was there's no friendships in this game, especially in the derby games. In other games there might be, but not derby games.
You're even smiling telling that story, Kino. I can tell you like that one.
Yeah, I do, because it was funny because it was just they were all going mental. All the players were going mad, and but I've been on the end of a few as well. So I think when you score against them and you know that it's things are happening in the game and it's getting a bit fiery, and Martin Yole, to be fair, I don't fancy Arsene Wenger against Martin Yole. Do you?
No.
Kino, from your era, who would you say were there particular players that used to get sort of really up for it? Were there certain players, because you played with some big personalities in that era of Spurs, were there certain players that you used to love Derby Day?
It's obviously most of the lads, you know, people like Teddy Sheringham, who's been there for a long time at the very start. When I was there, would tell you how important it is to, you know, to play in these games and how big it was for the fans. Of course, he played in certainly many of them. People like JJ, and then obviously Edgar came down, brought a bit of feistiness towards it as well. And that was that 1-1 game. A couple of games he was there, and it, you know, kicked off a few times, which was good. But listen, I think any player, regardless whether you're from England, Ireland, or you're a foreign player, I think your people remind you how big these games are and how important these games are. And I'm sure, when Toby came to the club, that was probably the first thing that I'm sure Alan Dixon told him. Big Al would have told him, certainly. So these are the games that people tell you about.
Yeah, Toby, is that right? You made aware of how big the game was as soon as you arrived as a player coming into the new club?
Yeah, of course. You heard about the fixture, but then if you sign for Spurs, you search a little bit from the history, more specific things, and you saw that the North London derby is the biggest game of the season, and then when the weeks before you start to feel it, people talk to you on the streets, if you go to the supermarket or something. So yeah, then it's like it's a very big game, and then you play one, and from then you're in love with the game, in love.
Yeah, AJ, you like me as a fan that you're buzzing for it, excited, but you're also nervous about it as well, because it's like we've all got a few mates that are Arsenal fans, not many, but it's you don't want to lose it, do you? How are your emotions before derby?
For me, a lot of musicians support Manchester United and Arsenal, so I get it a lot. I'm not only me. I think me and Adele are really holding it down for the Tottenham fans. But obviously I'm always anxious a little bit. But as of recent, I feel like Tottenham's such a strong team now. Yeah. It's kind of them who's a bit more nervous than us now. I'll be honest. That last one we did when Sonny absolutely put it away. Oh. I knew that was coming. I'll be honest. I thought we had that one.
Did you?
Easy. Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Did you get more confident now then? You notice a shift change? You get a lot more confident now going in?
Definitely. I think now, when I was growing up, it was a little bit like, here we go again. But, now it's more like they're a bit anxious as to whether they can really hold it up against our team now. So it's a nice feeling.
Toby, give us an insight into what the preparations are like. So Sunday, it's coming around very quickly. Obviously, loads of fixtures this season. What is your preparation like for Derby Day? Is it any different to any other games?
No, it's just the same because, of course, last night we played, and then today we had a session. Tomorrow we have a session. Then you prepare yourself the best way possible for the game. So there is not a lot of time to really to do something different than normal, but you don't need to. I think we're in a good moment now, doing the normal things, and be confident and go there for 3 points.
Same question to you, Robbie. Really, any superstitions or anything you did differently for Derby Day or the preparation going into this one?
No, not really. I used to turn my phone off because some Arsenal fan used to always have my phone number. I think he used to work for BT Sport or something. So every 2 days before the game, he'd ring me like 3 a.m. So it happened a couple of years on the spin. So I learned to turn my phone off a couple of days, especially in the evening time before games. But as a player, no, not really. I think as Toby says, it depends how you're feeling. Regardless whether you lose games coming up to a derby game, it goes out the window. It goes out the window because it's a different. Yeah, it's almost like a cup final. But in terms of Tottenham at the moment, how well they're doing, and compared to Arsenal, and I agree with AJ, Tottenham in a completely different place now at the moment. Tottenham are certainly the best team, between Arsenal and Tottenham, and as a squad as well. Obviously, Arteta is in a transitional period at the moment, but I look at the squad and holding experience and the strength and depth now that Tottenham have. Tottenham would be certainly going to the games as favourite, but as I said, you have to be careful thinking like that, certainly as a player, because anything can happen.
Yeah, we're going to go and talk about the specific game coming up in a bit. I just want to carry on with some of your memories, Robbie, because you mentioned the last game at Highbury. You also scored. We had so many questions saying, ask Robbie about the 5-1, ask Robbie about the 5-1. So I'm going to ask you about the 5-1. Talk to me about that night and a few celebrations after that.
Oh yeah, we had a few. Myself, JJ, a lot of us did. Yeah, it was certainly good. Obviously, we got a good result at Highbury. JJ scored. I think it was 1-1, and then we went back. As a player, Toby will probably notice himself. Sometimes as a player, you go into games thinking really good about yourself, and the team was very, very confident at that time. And then as soon as we got the first goal, we knew that this is it. And then the way we played that night, for me, that stands out the most was the atmosphere. It's probably one of the best atmospheres that I don't know if you were there, Smitty or AJ, but the atmosphere that night was absolutely electric, and that really stands out in my mind more than anything. The result was obviously was incredible, and thankfully we went on then to win the cup.
Yeah, massive. I mean, I've just got memories just thinking about that, AJ. It's just there's been some. The other thing I think of as a fan as well, there's been some really iconic moments in the game that you very rarely get. A 0-0. I hope I've not jinxed it now and it's going to be 0-0. But it's usually a pretty exciting game to watch for a neutral as well, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like sometimes you know, me and my little brother have season tickets. If my little brother's busy, he's never busy on Derby Day, but if he's busy, you know, one of my mates will come. And I hate taking neutrals to watch Spurs with me.
Yeah.
So I have to tell them, listen, if you celebrate when we concede, then you're out of here, bro. I'll be honest. But yeah, I'm sure it is great. It's a great fixture for neutrals. I feel like it's a really exciting game. It rarely is 0-0. Sorry, Toby, I'm not trying to jinx it, but yeah, it rarely is 0-0, and it's great to watch.
And Toby, how do you? I'm always intrigued to know this. From I mean, I play football at a dreadful level compared to everyone in this chat. But in terms of keeping your emotions in check, because obviously everyone gets up for Derby Day, is it a fine balance between getting motivated for it but not being too overly stimulated? Because especially when there's fans in attendance, is it a balancing act to being motivated but not being too psyched up? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course. Deep inside, I think all the players are a fan as well. But you have to be very professional. You know, you need to do your job. You need to know what you need to do. And yeah, that's sometimes it's difficult for some players to keep that balance. But of course, fans want to see the determination and all. But you need to be very professional and know your job. As a centre back, you need to know the qualities of the attackers, to know where you have to be, and don't get carried away by emotions, because then sometimes you can make mistakes, and as a defender, that's not a good point, I think.
Okay, let's look ahead to the game. Got to come to you first, Toby, obviously as a current player. Let's look ahead to the game Sunday, Arsenal against Spurs. Spurs got a good record, haven't they, in the last few games? How is the mood in the camp? How's everyone feeling ahead of this massive game?
Yeah, I think everyone is confident. I think not arrogant, but confident. That's a good way, I think. We know Arsenal is not in a bad moment. They play good football. They have good players. But I think, like we said before, I think over the last years, I think the moment around the time that I signed, I think we changed things around, you know, and that's very positive. I think as a Spurs fan, that's very positive. And we want to keep going, because on that day, everything can happen, and we have to make sure we're on the good side.
Robbie, how do you see this one going? Where do you think the game will be sort of won and lost, Robbie, in this one?
Well, listen, I think, firstly, I think they'd be worried certainly about the front three. Depends, obviously, what Jose is going to play. I mean, you would imagine probably Garrett will play because he rested him yesterday, and he's been in great form. He looks back to himself. He looks sharp, and obviously Harry and Son has been obviously on fire of late. So certainly, you know, Toby as a centre back, if he was playing against them three up front, you'd be going into this game certainly worried. But you have to have a bit of confidence in yourself as well. So I think with the lads up front, I think we were solid at the back. I think Toby got rested as well yesterday, so it's probably a good indication. He won't tell us, but he could play on Sunday.
That was the smile. I think it was the smile. What do you know, Toby?
I think if you got experience is very key as well, especially in defensive areas. Especially with Spurs, and we have that in abundance, certainly with Toby and Eric Dyer, and so I think with a front three, as I said, I think any centre backs will be frightened of that.
Yeah, as a striker yourself, somebody who scored an array of goals, Premier League 100 club, you're the top scorer for your country. Robbie's loads of goals for Tottenham. How excited are you about the Spurs going forward? You mentioned Kane and Son and Bell. There's so many options, and there's so many other players I haven't even mentioned there. There's just goals in abundance in the Spurs team, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. Listen, we know. I think if you keep a clean sheet, you know that the players that's in the squad, as you mentioned, will go and score goals. Harry, as I said, the two goals he scored last night was brilliant. He's in a rich frame of form. He's looking sharp, as I said. Garrett is looking sharp. He's looking back to himself, and Sonny is Sonny, isn't he? Sonny's a threat. He's danger. Anytime he gets the ball, certainly as a full back or as a centre back, you know, you tend to drop off quite a lot because he's so quick and so direct. So, listen, them three players would frighten anybody, absolutely anybody.
Yeah. AJ, how much do you love him, the Kane and Son show? And then it was the Kane and Bale show. It's obviously Lucas Moura chipping in with goals. It's great to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I've always been impressed by Kane and Son, obviously. But I think Lamella's been playing really good recently. I'm not going to lie, man. He's been coming through some really nice dribbles that we know about his footwork. Lucas, I feel like off the bench is just a rocket. He's got so much energy, so much pace. It's a real threat. Obviously, Dele's got great creativity. I'd love to see him like. I think, you know what? I think Ndombele and Dele together could be something special. I'll be honest.
Yeah. And also, you've got to know a lot of the Spurs players. AJ, we've seen you at the game. You've been invited there. You've been at kit launches. Obviously, a lot A lot of the lads love your music, as I do as well. How do you sense the mood in the camp and how exciting this squad is in general? Because you've listed about 5 or 6 players there. There's so many exciting options for Tottenham at the minute, I feel.
Listen, for me growing up, I'll be honest, this is like, I'm not trying to, just because you're on the call, Toby, but this is my favourite Spurs team. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I've seen loads of players that individually amaze me throughout the years, but the team spirit together, I feel like the togetherness matters a lot. And for us fans, we can feel it. When you guys are playing as a unit, we can see it. You know what I'm saying? It comes out. So I feel like, yeah, man, I love this Spurs team. And I really hope, we get some silverware. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd echo that. Actually, I've been lucky enough to interview a lot of the Spurs team and throughout my work working with Spurs and Spurs TV and stuff. And I do genuinely have seen that team spirit and that togetherness. It's a great bunch of lads. Toby, you've been at the club. You're one of the more experienced players. I said that politely. Obviously, more experienced, not old, more experienced. But do you feel that now in this current group of players? It does seem like there's a really good team spirit together.
Yeah, I think I've just been lucky. I think from the moment I signed, it was an unbelievable group, and it never changed. Actually, of course, we have superstars, but not with superstars behavior.
No egos.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, no egos,
Yeah.
and everyone works very hard and want to achieve something. I know people are talking about silverware. I want it most of anyone, but I think we don't. We have to see as well the steps that this club took,
Yeah, 100%.
We're talking about the comparison with Arsenal, okay, not only with them, but I mean, the last couple of years in the Champions League final, the way we play, the amount of players we attract, even the fans, the fan base that we have is unbelievable. So I think the stadium, so it's a lot to look forward to be a Spurs fan. And of course, the last couple of years, winning the North London Derby is a cherry on the cake.
Yeah, I like the fact you mentioned the record there. It does look good, doesn't it? Tottenham unbeaten the last 5 against Arsenal all comps, winning 3. I'll repeat that. Tottenham unbeaten the last 5 against Arsenal all comps, winning 3. I haven't got any issue with my connections when you echo that. AJ, it's all right, isn't it? I don't want to jinx it, but we do, like you said, we do look good in the last few fixtures against Arsenal.
Listen. I'll be honest to you. Whenever anyone wants to argue with me about football teams, I just say, you're only as good as your last couple of games, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're only as good as the last time we faced each other. So if any Arsenal fan says to me, whatever, I just say, you remember Son's goal, Manchester United fan, you saw the scoreline. That's it's something for me to have confidence in. I can say, just look at the scores and we'll talk about after the next game, we can have this conversation again.
Love it. Keane, who would you most like to have played with? We mentioned all these players here. If you could have played with one Spurs player from this era, who would you like to have who would you have linked up well with, do you think?
Well, listen, obviously because of where I play, it would obviously be Harry, because, Harry can play in the number 9 and I could play in the 9 and the 10. So it's a bit similar to myself, really, because me and Berbatov was like that, weren't we? So he could play as the 9, I'd drop as the 10 and vice versa. That's why we had that such a good understanding. So, listen, I played with Garrett anyway. Sonny, I'd like to play because he's so unselfish. He's always looking out for his team. He's always looking for that other pass. That's what I like about the combination between Harry and Son. It was similar to myself and Berbatov. We didn't mind who scored. As long as the two of us were helping each other to produce. I think that's what good partnerships do, don't they? They look after each other and they help each other, and they're getting the rewards from that with each other, with the amount of goals they're scoring and the amount of the assists that they're giving each other.
Yeah, keep your questions coming in, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see the question mark. I've got absolutely hundreds and thousands of questions, so we're going to get to them very shortly. There's thousands of you joining this, so thank you very much for getting involved. We'll try and get through as many as possible. I'm going to read a couple that we've had a lot sent in today. AJ, coming to you, loads of people asking. Obviously, you've used lyrics about Spurs many times in the past. Have you got a Spurs-inspired track coming out of this Spurs lyrics on the new album?
Listen, there's always going to be Spurs lyrics, Spurs players mentioned in my lyrics. That's just what I'm inspired by. So, yeah, definitely, always. Love
that. There we go. That's answered one of the questions. Favourite goal for Spurs? We've got a lot of, Robbie, for you. A lot of questions earlier saying, because you scored loads, if you had to pick one goal, your favourite for Spurs, which one stands out?
I think the one against Blackburn. I think I mentioned it before, the one when I chipped over Savage's head and from the corner flat from a throw-in. That's certainly up there.
Is that because you flicked it over Savage's head or because of the goal?
Absolutely. It's even sweeter when you see Savage's blonde locks going in the air and it just goes over. It was always nice. But
and Toby,
Savage's a good lad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Toby, we had loads of questions about your goal, the headed goal, the winning goal last season. People asking you to talk us through that day, that moment for you. But also, the other thing that came out is that people saying for someone that wins a lot of headers and scores a lot of headed goals, that your hair never moves. There was a lot of people asking me to ask you about the hair regime. Talk to me about it.
That will stay a mystery. That will stay a mystery.
It must be strong Belgium gel, that is it?
No. People think it's so strong, but it's not. It's not. So I'm just lucky, I think. No, the goal, of course. It was an unbelievable moment. Very important for our European spot at that time. But again, unfortunate we couldn't celebrate. Imagine scoring the winner at the new stadium with all the fans. So it will always be an unbelievable moment, but with some
bittersweet.
I would say like a bad taste at it as well because of the fans who weren't there.
Do you find that, AJ, as well? Like it's obviously we all love football, but not being able to go, it just makes you appreciate and want to go. I don't know about you, but for me, just so badly, doesn't it?
Yeah. I've spoken to a couple of ballers, and they've basically told me that, of course, like it's amazing to score a goal, but when the fans aren't there, it's just a completely different atmosphere. They've told me that. Obviously, it's hard for me to understand as a musician. The only way I could understand it is me doing a show without any fans being there. It's like you don't get the energy. You give the fans energy, they give it back. It's like it's an exchange, and without them being there, of course, it's still great to score a goal, but it probably feels a bit odd.
Yeah. Right, let's get to the questions. I'm going to work this question mark bar for the first time. As we've said, we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Loads of people saying, say hi, AJ, love your music. Can't wait for the album coming out. Kino is a legend. Great to see Toby on the stream. There's absolutely hundreds and hundreds of questions. A lot of people just replying with player names, as in Kane or Toby. Not actually a question, but keep them coming in. This one is from Aaron. See if I can get it on the screen. Here we go. For the wonder of technology, from Aaron, what was AJ's first Spurs game? Are you excited how I worked that technology, AJ? That was a nervous
I was surprised you did that. I don't know how to do that myself, I'll be honest. My first Spurs game, I guess he means the first one I went to in real life.
Yes, correct.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I actually don't remember because I was so young. My dad took me.
Really?
I don't remember, to be honest. I remember the first one I went to as an adult, like on my own. I think it was a home game against Everton with my younger brother at White Hart Lane. I'm pretty sure. And I think we won. Okay, so,
there we go. There we go. Love it. I'm going to try and do it again with the wonders of technology. Toby, this is for you from Preston. What's your favourite moment as a Spurs player so far? Good question, that.
Favourite moment as a Spurs player? It's difficult. I think, Lucas, his goal to get us to the Champions League final is unbelievable, I think. Again, we talked about team spirit, about mentality. I think this is the game that says who we are, I think. I think no one gave a penny for us when they scored a 2-0 and then still got a win and then go through was unbelievable. Yeah. I think that's the best moment of my Spurs career.
Yeah, unbelievable. Kino, that is just an incredible moment, that, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I was watching with my young lad, as you know, is a massive sports fan.
Yeah,
he was jumping around the room with his top off, and it was as players, these are the games that you remember because there's so much emotions, like a roller coaster, up and down. You're losing the game, and then you've got a few minutes left, and then I said Lucas was just on fire one game. The score then, in the last minute or so, whatever, was absolutely ecstatic for everybody.
Yeah, right, we've got loads more coming in. Keep them coming in. We've got another one here. Favourite Spurs player, AJ? Bearing in mind one of them's live with you now.
Yeah, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
There we go.
You know what? Favourite Spurs player? I mean, I don't want to say it changes all the time because obviously it does. I like players in every position. If I had to pick a player that I'm most entertained by, let's say, it's probably Son. It's probably Son, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because Son, whenever he gets the ball, it's quite magical. You know what I'm saying? Kane does what he does in and out every week, regardless. He's going to score goals. But for me, it's just Son. When he gets the ball, his athleticism, the way his spatial awareness, his attacking prowess, to me, it's just great, man. I love the way he plays.
And Toby, you can echo. I've met him a couple of times. He is one of the nicest guys in the game, isn't he, Sonny?
Yeah. I think the perfect professional, an unbelievable human being. He's always so friendly, but he has a fire in him as well. Same as, of course, everyone talk about Kane. Yeah. Him as well, to score goals, to help the team, to work for the team. his desire to win games, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, okay, right. Let's keep them coming. Just scrolling through. There's so many questions. Thank you ever so much for keeping the questions coming in. Here we've got another one for AJ. I don't know if I can get this in the. It's a good question. Is AJ, what Tottenham player would you want as a dinner guest? Clever, that one from Alex. Who would you pick?
As a dinner guest, can it be an old player, or does it have to be?
It can be from any era.
Any era. You know what? I think sitting down with Crouch would be funny. I think having dinner with Crouch would be funny. Crouch seems like a good man. He sounds like a good lad, man. I think that'll be entertaining still.
Well, we can come straight to Robbie, because obviously you know Peter Crouch very well. Would that be entertaining? Does he pick something good there?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Crouch is certainly a character, as you know. He's one of the good guys, and good lad to have around the place. Certainly in the dressing room, and he's not bad for a night out either. He's quite funny.
Yeah, a lot of people said that. I mean, obviously, I suppose there's nothing we could share right now because we're live right now. But you're just going to say very entertaining. Should we leave it there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's quite funny, very funny. He's a good lad, really good lad.
Love that. Toby, people are asking about who's the most influential in the dressing room. So players that get involved in pre-match talks or anything like that. Obviously, we know the manager's fantastic at that, and we've got a manager that's won a lot of trophies. But a lot of people are asking who is a leader in the dressing room. Obviously, ahead of a big North London derby.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of players who play for Spurs a couple of years now. We don't have like one big leader. I think everyone takes their role. Doesn't want to shout or to scream something just to scream because it's a North London derby or because it's a big game. I think everyone knows their part, knows. So we're actually like everyone in this together. Of course, we have our captain Hugo, who always talks before we go out. But if someone feels to say something, he can say. So that's the good feeling. Like no one is scared. Everyone can be themselves. I think it's very positive.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking Toby as well. It's quite. Forgive me for not knowing the name, but a lot of people saying, could you see how the club was building when you were at the club? Obviously, Toby alluded to the fact that now they've got the stadium, which is phenomenal. I know you've been to the stadium. The training ground's amazing. The players they've attracted. When you were at the club, Robbie, could you see that there was real improvement and real progress being made at Tottenham?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Toby mentioned earlier on about the squad that he had. His squad now reminds me of the squad when we had about Martin Yole and when Ramos was there. It was starting to build when we bring Berbatov in, and we had Michael Carrick and JJ, and then we bring in Davids in and players like that. So we were always building, and you could see the kind of the shift in change a little bit. And obviously they were speaking about trying to get a new training ground and a new stadium for a long time when I was there. So, and I know Daniel very, very well. And I knew that was a big thing for him to do that. And if you look at the stadium now, I mean, and the training ground, it's the best in the world by far. And I've been to a lot of stadiums, played in a lot of stadiums and to training grounds, but both of them are up there. Definitely not up there. They are the best in the world, and that will only help progress the team. If I was a player and I was going to sign for a team, and I walked into that dressing room, the training ground, and walked to that stadium, you're already sold before you get it. And take away the history of the club and stuff like that. As players, that's what you look at. You do look at what's the training ground like, what's the stadium like. I want to play in that, and you visualise yourself actually playing in the stadium. And Tottenham Stadium is magnificent.
Yeah, we've got a question in from William there saying, AJ, which position would you play for Spurs on Sunday? Do you know what? We had a lot of questions. People saying, what are you like? Is AJ a baller? Go on, where would you play? Give us an insight.
You know what, I can run quite fast, I'll be honest, and I'm 6'3", so I reckon somewhere at the back. I'll be honest. Toby could give me a few tips. I'll slot in at the back somewhere. Yeah,
can you sort that, Toby? I mean, imagine that. Giving AJ 5 minutes.
He's going to take my place. No.
I'm gonna get him onto Soccer Aid, and let's see how good he is.
100%. Get me involved, lads. Get me involved.
Do you know what? I think Kino can actually sort that. So is that a little exclusive for us, Kino? You're going to sort that for AJ, yeah?
Just put the word in, man. Just put the word in.
Okay, no problem. Leave it with me.
I would say, can you sort me out? But I'm nowhere near famous enough to get on that.
No. That's me. I've seen you play.
I think you have. You completely thrown me as well. I completely thrown my time. A lot of people asking about your favourite teammate, Robbie. Obviously, linking it to North London Derby, but did you have I don't want to, highlight one person necessarily, but a favourite teammate for your era? Because as I said earlier, big characters that you play with. Anyone that stands out?
What you mean, as in playing with, or a partner, or like Berbatov, or you mean just someone like a character, or just someone that?
The question we had
or...
was just favourite teammates. So why don't you answer both? The player that you most enjoyed,
well, I think,
sort of best friend at the club, and player that you most enjoyed playing with as a link up.
Well, I think it would have to be Berbatov, obviously, because the partnership that we had for a few years was great. As I said, he's a good friend of mine. But listen, I was one, as you know me, I was one that I always gone well with everybody. I'm still good friends with Michael Carrick from the couple of years that he was there. Obviously, Jermaine Jenis, a good friend, Michael Dawson, Ledley. So I still have really close friends that I speak to on a regular basis. And as I said, I've always kept in touch with the lads. So it's very harsh to name one, because I get on well with so many of them.
Yeah, fair point. Mick THFC has just said, I just lost the question there. Question, Toby, do you have any pre-match superstitions?
Not really. I try to eat the same things always. Try to do the same things. Not, you know what works. A lot is in your head. So if you do something different, you don't feel comfortable with it. So you try to do the same things. And then, just give 100%. That's always in my mind. Give 100%. That's all you can do. So, try to do and eat the same things than normal.
Yeah, fair point. AJ, do you have any? I know it sounds like a weird question, but I know a few fans that do, on like Derby Day, for instance, will have some strange superstitions because they get really nervous. Do you have anything that you do on Derby Day?
I'll be honest, not really, man. As long as I'm wearing my shirt, I'm all right. I think my mum knows not to come in and ask the score. She knows to wait until the end to find out the score. So yeah.
I love that. Right, keep your questions coming in. Thank you so much for that. Absolutely thousands. I'm trying to scroll through as many as we can, but there's absolutely hundreds. So people loving this stream. I've got a load of people saying, loads of people just saying Harry Kane. Harry Kane's the go. Harry Kane. So let's talk about Harry Kane's record in this. I've got it in front of me. Harry Kane has scored 11 goals in 12 derbies. Toby is a teammate of yours. That record is just incredible against your biggest rivals. Is it something that he's aware of, that he talks about? Is he just ultra psyched for this game? Give us a sort of insight into him as a teammate going into this game.
Maybe I have to disappoint you. I think he's going to the game the same as he is in other games, but he's just so I will say there's a fire in him. You know, he wants to score goals. And not only score goals. You see this season assist as well. Yeah. But then how many times he hold the ball up for us? He works hard. He runs back. He sprints back. So that's the thing we need. So that he gets all the attention. He gets that's unbelievable, because everyone wanted for him. You know, so happy for him when he scores. And I think he's the best striker in the world for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree with that, Robbie. Perfect person to ask as a former striker yourself. Harry Kane, best striker in the world. Toby described him as there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think, listen, I always knew that Harry could, play in that 10 role as well, because he was a big lad. He can hold the ball. He's got a great touch. But this year, he's took his game to, I think, a different level. He's kind of in a mold between an Alan Shearer when he's inside the box and a Teddy Sheringham outside the box. He can do both, and you've seen, the way he drops off short, his passing is improved a hell of a lot. He's took his game certainly in these last few years to a level that I kind of had a feeling that he could get to, because I could see the glimpses of some games that he could play in that 10 role, no problem. But there's a difference with players. Is sometimes people want to be at number 10, they don't want to be hungry to score too many goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Harry has both. Harry wants to assist, but also his goal was a prime example yesterday, where he got off from deep, a long ball, and then kept running, and then gets his rewards by hitting the post and getting a knock in. He was inside the 6-yard box.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a prime example of someone who wants to do well outside the box, but also as soon as he gets rid of that ball, he's inside the box. So he's definitely, for me, he's up there as probably the best at the moment, best number 9 /10.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a great point that Robbie makes, AJ, isn't it, about his development. He's almost playing as a number 10 and a number 9. It's almost like he's excelling in both positions. He's just been on incredible form, isn't he?
Incredible. And I just want to say, if anyone from EA Sports FIFA is watching that, you need to put his pace up a bit, because I think you're mocking it with the pace. He's faster than you think he is. He is definitely faster than they think he is. I think because he's a big guy, he doesn't look that fast, but he's definitely got some burners on him. And I think his passing, ridiculous. He's been working on it clearly. His assist this season, you know, we can name other footballers who are known for assists, and he's got more assists than them this season. So
yeah, great
he's
point.
clearly doing something right. And he's, what is he? I think he's 1 goal off top goal scorer. Am I right? I think a goal off.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there with
He's up there, man.
assists, up there with goals. Yeah.
For me personally, obviously I'm a Spurs fan, but he's the most complete forward in the world. That's my opinion, genuinely. And there's a lot of people who are up there, but he's for me, he's too complete, man. Great guy. What's
he like in training, Toby? Is he someone that just, because obviously we have this chat about players that are just naturally born with ability and players that work on it. Well, where does he sit in that? What's he like on a day-to-day basis in training?
Yeah, he works very hard. Of course, when you play that many games, it's difficult to train. It's only play a game, recover, play a game. But the moment there's a slight moment to train, he will be there and he will train and he will improve himself in all the way it's possible. And for sure, he will watch his own games back and watch other games and know where he can improve. That's why he's getting better as well in the number 10 position, or he adapts his game, because people, it's not only this season, it's not last season, it's for 5, 6, maybe more seasons now.
Yeah, good point.
He's doing it. So everyone will see his game and know, oh, that's his quality. As a defender, you need to do this. And he adapts again to be smarter than the other one, or and to improve and keep getting those stats every season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just read out some of these. We've just got some comments that aren't questions, but just John says Keane is a legend. We've also had people saying Keane, there's only one Keane. Great to have Toby on the chat. Toby, loving you at Spurs this season. We've had loads of AJ fans that are loads of people asking about your new track, AJ, as well, and the album as well. When are we hearing a Spurs track, which you covered earlier? So there's a lot of love for all of you in the comments. Kane's a lot of Kane's stats as well. George has put Kane's game to 100 goals in 143 games. He scored 11 and 12 in the derby. So there's a couple of statos in here as well. Keep your questions coming in. We'll take another couple before we've got to go. A lot of people asking about AJ. Can you play in defence, wing back? We covered that earlier, but people are intrigued to know if you could do a job at the back as well, apparently.
We'll find out. We'll find out one day.
Yeah, there we go. Toby, you are a legend, says Andy there. Keno again. I love Robbie Keane. Just reading a few more out here. Toby, favourite Spurs moment, which we've covered as well. So Robbie, just finally looking ahead to the game then. We said that you're confident. How confident are you going into this game against Arsenal?
Yeah, listen, I'm fairly confident. As I mentioned before, I think the strength and depth and certainly the run now that Tottenham are under, you know, they're going into this game with a lot of confidence. Of course, playing home last night and Arsenal playing away gives them a little bit of advantage. But so I'm fairly as Toby probably said, he's quietly confident and not too arrogant about it, but quietly confident.
Yeah, Toby, Robbie mentioned earlier, do you talk about form in games like this, or does it just go out the window for derby games? Is it a complete one-off? Is it like a cup final in a way?
No, you don't really talk about it. You talk about tactics, about how we're going to play, what we're going to do, who we're going to be up against. But I think, like you said, it's not about to be overconfident, because this is the Premier League. Arsenal is a good side, a good team. You play away as well. That makes it a little more difficult, but you have to be confident in the way we want to play, the way we're going to approach the game, and show that we have more quality than them, and more passion and more desire to win that game.
Yeah, we've had a question in as well saying, Toby, if you score, you're going to do Robbie Keane's iconic celebration. Obviously, Robbie Keane had the cartwheel, which Spurs fans loved. Is there any chance Toby can do the Keano if he scores?
The risk of being injured is going to be there then. So it's
not the same with any fans either.
We'll try it. I'll try it. Otherwise, it's difficult.
Keano, you did that for many years, didn't you? To be fair to you, that was a decent setup, wasn't it? That.
I was just thinking, I would struggle now with no fans there. Imagine me doing the cartwheel there in front of who? I would have to do in front of the dugout or something with no fans there. So it'd be a bit strange for me to do it now. But I did do a few times, thankfully. That means I've obviously scored a few, so it's not too bad.
Keno, Charlie in the comments said, "Can Robbie demonstrate it live on Instagram now?" What are the chances of that?
a bit like Toby. I don't want to injure myself. I'm old now.
Good question of it. And AJ, just finally, your thoughts going into this one. Are you having conversations with Arsenal fans, Arsenal mates in the industry before it, or is it turn your phone off, quietly confident? Talk us through your mindset.
Look, end of the day, I'm Spurs through and through. And I know some of the lads on the Arsenal team, you know, I'm saying they're good lads, good humans, but on the pitch it's completely different, mate. That's our rivals, and end of the day, I'm quietly confident. I don't think we need to brag about it. I just think we're the better side. We bring more quality, in my opinion, and hopefully we get the job done, man.
Cool, brilliant. We'll just read a couple of these comments out now. Chris says, Toby is a god. I love Toby. John says, AJ Tracy, can't wait for the new album. Loads of Kino chants in the comments as well. There's Steve saying, Kino is a legend, says Andy. So I think that is the perfect note to end it on, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed it. We had thousands of questions, a lot of nice comments as well. AJ, just remind all the viewers about the track and the album. Give us the update from you.
Yeah, man. The track's called Anxious. Go give it a look. Hopefully you enjoy it. Album's coming out soon. Loads of Spurs references in all my music. You guys already know. And guys, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And Robbie, of course, we know that you still follow Spurs religiously. You love watching the Spurs. So obviously, it's been great to have you on as well.
Absolute pleasure. And I wish you all the best. Toby, all the best Sunday, pal.
Thank you very much.
And Toby, of course, brilliant from you. Obviously, busy schedule. So hope that you enjoyed that. And the fans absolutely loved having you on. So I hope you enjoyed joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And we're going to do our best Sunday.
Yeah, love that. Up the Spurs. Let's hope for 3 points on Sunday. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to follow Spurs on all social media accounts at Spurs Official on Insta. Loads more great content coming your way soon. Big thanks to all our guests. And we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.